What's happening, guys? Hope everybody's ready for some casting today. Today's going to be pretty fun. We got some stuff sent in by Curtis, Soot's Crafting. He's actually in the chat room right now. He sent in some dye stabilized manila rope. So a bunch of different ones, some thin stuff, some thicker stuff, an undyed piece. And he also sent in a Lotus pod thing. So lots of fun stuff. We'll have to kind of figure out what we're going to make. I really haven't even thought about exactly, well, I've thought a little bit about it, but I'm hoping that you guys maybe have some good ideas on what you want to see these kind of made into. I was thinking we could make some pen blanks, and then we could also do like, I don't know, like a bottle stopper maybe blank, or like a bowl blank. I don't know. Lots of different stuff. This one is pretty interesting. Not sure exactly how to use all this stuff yet. So be thinking about that. In other news, let's see here. Let me try this camera. So I got my cables and my camera and everything's ready to go, and I was trying to use the good camera today, and it wasn't recognizing the source. So I don't know if there's a problem with my capture card now, or who knows. So hopefully we'll have that fixed next week. But we're still using the little webcam things. And actually, let me do something really quickly here. I think I can do something really quick. Hopefully I can do this on the stream without causing any massive problems. I'm going to try and increase the exposure. That's the wrong camera. Hold on real quick. Wrong camera. This one. I think that I have it set low because I was using the lights on the lathe. Yep. Okay. Let's try this. That might work right there. I like that a lot better. So we got better exposure. So here are the blanks, the pen blanks that have the aluminum things in them. What are they called? The Mexican ornaments. And check out these cool patterns in the sides of it. Let me see if I can get this to like focus on this. Pretty neat looking. The colors are cool, and this camera does not want to focus on anything, but pretty cool looking blanks. So I'm actually really excited to turn these. Hopefully they will stay together. I'm probably going to turn one, and then I'll probably put the other two up in the store. And I'm not sure. I'm kind of thinking that, let's see here. I'm probably going to just give you guys kind of an idea of what's going on here. I think for this one, I'm probably going to cut this into stopper blanks. I guess we can maybe get, I don't know if we're going to get 3 of them, but we'll definitely get 2 stopper size blanks, or like shift knob handle things. And I think I'm going to turn this into a sphere. I think we're going to give the sphere jig a shot with this thing and try and make a sphere out of this. I thought that would be kind of cool. So a couple things though, be looking for blanks going up in the store eventually, but I want to turn these myself to see. I want to make sure that they stay together kind of. And then the other thing that, I don't know, you might have seen, check out this sphere. Oh my goodness. This thing turned out wicked, guys. Sorry that it's not really focusing too well on anything. But, and then I turned a little stand. I'm still not sure. I didn't polish the stand thing. I kind of wanted it to be a little different than the sphere, so it would be kind of separated, but I'm not sure what I may go back and polish this. I'm not sure, but I really like this project. And that thing will probably go up in my store eventually. But I'm working on a video for that one. So hopefully, I haven't like edited the video or looked at it yet, but I did pull it into my editing software. And it's just going to be a very simple, like showing some steps. I'm not even going to talk until the end. So it should be kind of a quick, simple video, but at least you can kind of see the sphere jig in action that I used. That's kind of why I was filming it, and then the project actually turned out pretty awesome. So it'll be up soon. I'm shooting for getting that video up on Sunday. So That's what's coming up. Anyway, let me stop real quick and see. Man, there's lots of people here already. Wow. Eric's here, and I saw Curtis is here. Nice. And Art's here. Hey, what's up, Art? Yeah, so I'll be turning up some of those blanks. The only question that I have, they look awesome. They turned out cool. The only issue is there any bonding problems? Because I don't really want to sell those blanks if they're very prone to just shattering. So I'm going to turn some, see if, if I run into... The way that I test it, if I can get through it and I don't really have any problems, then I don't really have any problems selling the blanks. Where I run into issues, where I have in the past, is sometimes people don't really understand that these are kind of experimental blanks, maybe not the best for staying together. And so if random people end up buying those blanks, sometimes I run into problems and they're like, oh, it blew up on me. And I'm like, you need to kind of be careful. So, but if it's just super problematic, if I just have nothing but problems myself, then it's obvious that other people are guaranteed to have problems. So at this point, as long as I can get through it and it's not really that big of a deal, then any extras will go up on my site so you can buy them. So let's see here. Who else? Mike McEwen. Nice. Fray a piece and wrap around a... Oh, yeah. The problem is I don't think I'm going to do that because that takes forever on a live stream. I don't think I'm going to do tube in stuff. That is a good idea, though. I don't... We won't even be able to cast it, honestly, because you have to use... some sort of a glue to mount it first, then you have to go back and cast it. So we'll probably just do dunk and junk on these. I might save some and just do it on my own time, and then we can cast it later. Maybe we can do that next week. Let's see what else is happening here. Christina made it. Nice. You're watching at the dinner table, Jeff? Nice. I think that's cool. I don't think there's any forgiveness needed for that. I think it's kind of fun. All right, so let's see here. Anna's here too. Nice. Lots of people. Anyway, so let's see here. Let's get going here. Let's make some pen blanks first. And what I was kind of thinking, and let me know what you guys think. So there's two ways to kind of go about this. We got really vibrant colors, and I think that this would be cool to just put in resin that's like opaque. And I got to be honest, it probably, I think we can get, it's not going to be similar results exactly to this, but it'll be like this. If we went with like a white pearl or something like that, where it's a dark color, maybe even black, where you have super opaque and then you just have these little rope colors coming through. I thought that would be kind of cool. And then the other obvious choice is to go with kind of see-through. Now for pen blanks, see-through pen blanks are problematic and you're going to have to paint them. But with that, I'm just thinking, so for people that aren't super familiar with pen blanks and painting the inside of the blank and tubes, if you made a blank that was like dead clear, and I have a few of these blanks where it's just clear resin and then you kind of add some colors in there, like dyed resin, just kind of little wisps. What ends up happening is if you're making a pen that has a tube in it, then you have a couple of options. The problem is you're going to see the tube, obviously, and so you can paint the tube. That generally doesn't work the best on a dead clear pen blank. You can see glue splotches and you can kind of see the painted tube, but it just doesn't really cover things up nice. Another way to go, and this is what I like to do a lot of times. Where are my? Here's some. On these clear ones, I'll go with like chrome. They call them nickel plated pen tubes. I like that option. The problem is you're going to see glue splotches, okay? And it's one of those things that I'm like, most people, if you're like selling pens, most people that are going to buy it, they're not even going to notice the glue splotches. It's just as pen makers, we know what glue splotches look like, and you're like, oh, I didn't like that. But I would kind of rather have a little bit of glue splotch and then have that chrome tube that looks good under the clear blank. And what ends up happening is then whatever the pen blank looked like as a pen blank is going to kind of look the same in, once you've turned the pen. The other option is you can go with painting the inside of the blank. And what ends up happening with that is if you got a clear, clear resin on the blank, painting the inside of the blank is going to make the clear parts look like if you painted it black, it's going to be dead black, like almost like you added black dye to the resin. So you'll get depth, but it pretty much changes the entire appearance of the blank, which is cool, but if that's not what you're going for, it's not the greatest thing. So with this, anyway, with that whole long spiel, if you went with clear and added the rope, it might actually be kind of cool to do the painted inside of the blank because it will convert it to black or blue or whatever color you paint it, and you'll still have the colors in the rope. So that would work pretty good with that. You could still do the chrome tube, that would work fine too. So that's for transparent blanks, and then the other way is just do an opaque, and I think that would look cool too. So let me stop real quick, and I've been talking a long time. Contrasting color with pen blanks. So do you mean, I'm guessing you mean opaque, like not see-through, the opposite of see-through? Oh, and Art, thanks for the super chat. I just saw it. Sorry about that. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Let's see here. Indiana is well represented. Nice. How's it going, Frank? Who else is from Indy? Oh yeah. Dominic is too. That's right. And let's see here. Lots of people. Okay, so anybody else have any other ideas? I'm kind of thinking, leaning towards, let's go with an opaque on this first one. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. I only have so many pressure pots, so I got to kind of figure out how we're going to do all this stuff. I've got 3 pressure pots. So I think what we can do is we can make a couple of bricks of pen blanks. And the other thing that I'm thinking of, pen blanks are great. I know that not everybody turns pens, but if you make a brick of pen blanks, then more people can try these out because I'll be putting them in my shop. So we can do 2 batches of pen blanks, 1 transparent, 1... Actually, how about we do this? Let's do 3 different types of things. Let's do a batch of pen blanks, and we'll go with opaque so that nobody has to worry about painting tubes or doing any of that kind of stuff. I got to be honest, I'm lazy. I don't like painting tubes and doing all that. I was telling you guys about the chrome tubes, and to be honest, I like them because it keeps the blanks look intact if it's super transparent. And that is true, but at the same time, it's also just super simple. I don't have to paint or do anything. So pretty lazy when it comes to painting tubes. I don't really love doing that. One of the problems that I have with painting blanks, and the best way that I've found to do it is just use spray paint. It's the thinnest type of paint that will stick kind of to plastic. But even with that, if you're trying to cover the whole thing, what ends up happening is even with a really thin paint, it can kind of make the hole smaller, basically. And then you're screwed. You got to deal with that. And it's such a pain. I'd rather just not do it if I don't have to. So let's go with opaque blanks, and I will let if I guess Art's the only super chat right now, so I'm going to leave it up to Art. What color would you like to see? I'm kind of thinking we really don't need a bunch of colors with this. We just need to make resin and probably go with 1 color. And then let the rope kind of do the rest. So Art, since you super chatted, you get to pick the color that we make. And again, we're going to go with opaque on these pen blanks. And then I think what we'll do is we'll make some, I don't know, bottle stoppers. The problem with bottle stoppers is I think that a lot of people find that they're kind of tough to sell. They're really good gifts, but there's not a huge market, I don't find, for selling them. But gear shift handles are cool. That's kind of the same idea. Or handles. So I'm kind of debating. I think we should go with something like, with one of these molds and kind of figure out, we can kind of go with the transparent look then, and that lends itself better to just leaving stuff see-through, I think. Let's see here. You have an enormous pine cone that won't fit in the pressure pot? I've been there. Let's see, what was David's? Guitar picks. Yeah, it might be a little hard to suspend them, but if you wait till the way end of the working time, this is kind of tough. If you got guitar picks aren't really that heavy as long as they're the plastic ones. I think you could probably get them suspended, but they may kind of move a little bit. That would be a really good one to pour. One little tip that I've found is pouring something like that in a horizontal mold. It has less room to go down, you know, like there's less vertical room. And so it's harder to keep things suspended in a sideways mold compared to like a PVC pipe. So, you know, this is basically about the same size, you know, blank in the end. But the picks have a lot longer to travel down. And if you're using something like Alumilite Clear, I guess it doesn't matter. Whichever resin you use, as long as you wait till the end, when there's only a few minutes left until it like fully hardens up, then, you know, they can only move so far before the resin, you know, hardens. But you have a lot longer room of travel before it will, you know, be too bad. So vertical might be a better way to go. I find that it works better that way. Let's see. Art says baby blue or sky blue. And let me ask you one other question, Art. So that's cool. We got, I think the closest baby blue opaque is probably going to be this one. It's not exactly baby blue, but it's kind of sky blue, I would say. The Lagoon Blue from Divine Pigments. That's a good one. I really like this color. We can either do that, and that's just opaque, or when I say opaque, I just mean not see-through. And so the other option is we could go with like either the Paradise Blue or the Sky Blue Caster's Choice, and this will be pearly. But we can load it up with a ton of it so that it's actually going to be opaque. So let me know which way you want to go, if you want to go with just a dye or if you want to go with the mica powders. So let's see here. 3-day cast. Oh yeah, I guess you could do the like layering and all that stuff. The problem that I've had with layers though is no matter what you do, you're gonna get witness lines with each pour if you turn it. If you just leave it, you know, like if you cast it and then don't turn it or sand it or touch it, you take it out of the mold and it's done, then you're fine. But if you're gonna pour a bunch of layers and then turn into it, I don't know. I have heard some people say that you can sort of somehow do it that way, you know, without getting witness lines. But I've tried polyester resin, epoxy, and Alumilite, and none of them were particularly awesome. So not sure if, did you answer, Art? I'm not sure yet. All right, so pen lengths first. I'm going to get this thing. I'm actually going to use a different mold. This is my Alumilite Clear mold. The other one's a little sticky. So I find that this one, and I got to be honest, guys, I've been using this ultra high molecular weight instead of HDPE for a little while now. Hasn't been a long while, but a little while, and I don't think that there's any reason to pay extra money for ultra high molecular weight. Frankly, out of the box, the HDPE that has like the non-stick surface on it, at least I buy this stuff from Granger, and so, you know, different material providers may have different stuff. 5 drops blue and 5 drops white. Well, that's probably not going to make it opaque, just to let you know. I think it's better if we just go with this, because this will make it opaque if we load it up, and that's going to give you pretty much the same exact color as that. So the question is, do you want sparkly or do you just want dye? So let's go with that. Okay, there it is. Sky blue mica powder. Nice. So I'm gonna. Can you see this on? Yeah, you can kind of see that on that camera. This is the sky blue. So it's a pretty nice one. Pretty nice one. I gotta get a hold of Brian. He's supposed to send me more powders. What thickness? I get I get 1/2 inch. So the way that I make my molds, the sides are 1/2 inch, but the bottom I use 3/4 because what I find is if you, and I just use the standard screws from Home Depot, like the, whatever wood screws. If you got smaller screws, this wouldn't be so much of a problem, but I like the wood screws because they have good bite and hold together better. But what I found is I used to use 1/2 inch for the base part, and the problem is you got to get it dead on center on the bottom to not have the screw kind of poke up or down. And I just got tired of messing with it. If you just get 3/4, you don't even have to really aim barely when you're drilling and screwing them in. Doug's here. What's up, man? Okay, so there was another question. How big are the molds? They're about 5 by 6. And they're pretty much, that's about the same size as most people sell. Mine are specific, and it's to like 1/16 of an inch just because of the way that I process blanks, but 5 by 6 in general is what it is. That way, what you can do is that way you get either 5 6-inch blanks, but the way I do it, I get 6 5-inch blanks out of that, even cut and everything. So it works pretty good. All right, and Mert's here too. Sweet. So Granger has like all kinds. Now the problem with Granger is they also have tons and tons of different types of HDPE. So I buy sheets, and you can get any like thickness and huge sizes. You can buy an entire sheet of it if you want. But you have to look for, you want to get the anti-corrosive one, and you want to make sure that it's there's one that has a textured surface, and you don't want that basically. Sometimes I screw up and I order the wrong one. One thing that always makes me order the wrong one is I'm looking at the high temperature max rating on the stuff at Granger, and actually the one that goes higher, I think it goes to like 190. That's the stuff that's like marine grade, and it has a texture on it. You don't want that. You want to just get the one that goes to 176. And I think it's probably cheaper as well. But I find that just the Granger HDPE that has a smooth surface on it, it actually demolds better out of the, like the first time I put one together, I don't even need to use mold release with Alumilite Clear anyway, and it'll just pop right out. Whereas with the ultra high molecular weight, that stuff, it actually kind of stuck to it. So I don't know. I just ordered the 5 1/4 mold from yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure what the question is. Are you talking about cutting the brick in half? Or, like the actual resin stuff, or cut the mold in half? Because I'm not entirely sure which one you have. Let's see here. And Ricky's asking, do I sell molds? I don't even like making the molds. So I don't sell them. And the other thing is there's tons of people selling really good molds now. Turner's Warehouse, this isn't a block mold, but they're making them where they're like a full block, and then they have the little pop outs on the bottom. So those things, and they're basically just CNC'd, so they're like perfect size. Those are pretty good ones. Fred over at P-Town Subby makes them, and Lizard Blanks as well. I think personally I kind of like Fred's better. I don't like the wing nuts and all that stuff on Lizard Blanks. I'd rather just use a screw gun and take them apart, but they all of them work good. So there's good people out there selling them. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't even like making them myself really. Oh no, you have to replace the belt on your Nova. It's not that fun. It's not that hard, but it does suck when you have to do that. OJ's here. What's up, man? I think there is a glue that works on HDPE, but I got to be honest, I have no clue. All right, so I'm going to start writing some notes down here. So I guess I'll just kind of move that down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I always write notes. Let's see, it's April 17th. Write the date. You know what I'm mad about, guys? My digital pen does not work anymore. It doesn't record stuff, so I'm really kind of pissed because it was not cheap. and I'm gonna have to replace it. And I've been looking, trying to figure out if there's a way to, like, you know, update the software or do something, and honestly, I think it just doesn't work anymore. So I'm really mad, but whatever. It's a great way to go, though, if it works. But now all of these notes are not being recorded digitally, so may as well just use whatever pen until I get a new one. All right, so we're doing manila rope. And then number 1, we're doing pen blanks. We're going to be using, I call that my 6 blank mold. And we're going to use slow set clear Alumilite. So that mold holds about 540 grams. And we're going to go with 1 color. So I just mix up, how much is that? 540 divided by 2. 270 times 2. And then we're going to use Caster's Choice Sky Blue. Now, we're going to have to dump a ton of it in there. So 270. The way my brain works, I usually look at half of the total, like the part A basically, or half the resin, when I'm figuring how much stuff to put in. So I think we're, I gotta be honest, guys, I don't know if I actually have enough Sky Blue. So that's not really the right one. That's not the same. Well, I'll dump the rest of this in there, however much we get out. We might have to kind of mix and add some other colors of blue in there. But I think that we're going to need about, how much am I going to need? Probably like 2 teaspoons. I don't know. We'll kind of have to play with it. Yeah. I think we're going to be closer to 2 teaspoons on that. And what I'm going to do, we're going to just kind of put a few strands. We're not going to use all of this stuff in the pen blank. So I think what I'm going to do here is, we'll kind of put the Lotus pod aside for a second. I'm not sure exactly what to do with that one yet, but I think what I'm going to do is just kind of cut a little bit off of all this stuff, and we'll just dump a bit of each one in. So let me see if I can get a shear that will cut this stuff. And again, this was sent in by actually, I almost forgot. So give Curtis a follow over on Instagram. He makes some cool stuff. I was going to put a link. So there's a link in the chat there. But anyway, Curtis made, dye stabilized all this stuff. You guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to try. These are some pretty wicked shears that I got. They can handle the cutting. So I'm kind of thinking we'll just go with a little bit of each color. I think that's the way to do it. This is a pretty cool idea. I don't think I've seen anybody cast rope like this before. And even smarter idea, stabilizing it. That's pretty simple. There's so many materials that you can just either stabilize and cast or just literally toss in resin. It's awesome. And sometimes, some of the simplest stuff you don't even think about. That was a tougher one. There we go. This one, oh, almost lost that guy. Go with a little bit of green. And blue. This one's a little crunchy. All right. So we got our materials ready for this round here. Put those guys on the side. And actually, I'm going to move my sphere because I don't want to get it all resiny and nasty. Get that out of the way. Move that. All right, let me just see what's happening here. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. If I can, I'm not sure what the question is, David. I bought some of the honeycomb. Put lights under it to illuminate. I'm not sure what you're asking exactly. You can do that. You can cast it in clear, and you could put lights under it. I'm not sure if I'm missing the question, if I'm not reading that right, or if you have a specific question about that, I can try to answer it. Zoom down. Okay, and so we got that. We're gonna go with 1 to 2 teaspoons. All right, so we got everything ready. Let's get our resin out. Get a mixing cup. Get any extra chunkies out of there. All right, so we're gonna zero that out. Let's see, you guys can't really see. So I'm gonna move this little guy over to here. Don't look at the camera for a second. Going on a trip. Okay. What does that look like? Yeah, that looks pretty good, I think. Sort of. There. I think that looks pretty good. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to switch to this other view though real quick. So, oh, no, not that one. This one. That way up in the corner you can see what I'm doing. Whee! Oh man. You like those Crocs and socks? They rock. Problem is I don't like getting resin on my toes and ankles and stuff, and so if I spill any resin, the socks kind of help with that, and I don't like getting shavings in my feet either. But I gotta be honest, these Crocs, I think they're the what are they called? I don't know which brand they are now or which model, but they are honestly some of the most comfortable things. I've tried all kinds of things in the shop, and these things have been super comfortable. So we need 270 grams of part A. What do you guys got against Crocs and socks? What's the problem with that? Who cares? It's the way we do it these days. Workshop chic. Come on. It's not like I walk around town with my Crocs and socks on. Now that is fashion police, isn't it? That would be too much. Too far. All right, and then we need 270 grams of part B. All right. Almost there. Trying to think if there's anything else going on, any news or stuff I could share. I don't know. Okay, good to go. So we're gonna mix this guy up. You wanna make sure you mix your resin quite well. Scrape the sides, the bottom. And we're gonna do a little bit of a test. So like I was saying, I don't know the exact amount of mica powder that I want to put in here, but I do want to make sure that the blanks are opaque. I don't want to be messing with painting stuff. So the way you do that is we'll be adding some mica powder. And then what you do is you just pull it out, you know, once you've mixed some in, pull the mixing stick out, and if you can see through it, then you need to add more mica powder. And this is for pen blanks. The reason being, pen blanks you end up turning so thin that there's just not that much mica left. So you need to put a ton of mica powder in if you're trying to get opaque pen blanks. All right, so we got it all mixed. We're going with the Caster's Choice Sky Blue, but I'm kind of running it a little bit low. So we're gonna have to kind of see how much is in here. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon, little spoon thing. So I'm gonna go with, we're gonna start with a full teaspoon. So four of these, and we're gonna see where we're at. Some mica powders tend to be a little bit more opaque than others. So you'll just have to kind of test it out, see what you get. Seems dark again. In the cup, it looks totally opaque, but we're going to be making pretty thin things. So it's actually not that bad, but I think we do need a little bit more. So we got 1 teaspoon in right now. We might be able to get 2 teaspoons out of this. 1, 2, 3, 2 3/4 teaspoons. That might be enough. Frank, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it, bud. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. The problem is, the test is a little bit better with like a wooden popsicle stick kind of. If you can see the wood grain, which I can't in this, with just a little bit of your resin with the mica powder in it, then you're good to go. You're not going to see the tube most likely. It does help to paint the tube or use, you know, something that's not super bright like the brass tubes. If I'm somewhat worried that I might see the tube through, I really like the powder coated tubes at Turner's Warehouse. They got white, black, and a silver. Or these are probably the easiest. You're guaranteed you're not gonna, you know, chrome isn't gonna like stick out like a sore thumb. So that's usually what I go with, is just the chrome ones underneath. Just to make sure. The worst thing you can do is put a tube in there, not paint it, and then get all done with your pen, and then you can see the brass tube. That's the worst. So it's still a good idea to you know, put something in there, but you know, that's why I like the powder coated ones and all that. I don't have to actually paint them myself. Just grab one and toss it in there. Okay, we'll put our micas away. With this, we don't really need to sit around and wait necessarily for the end of the working time. One thing that I will say about pouring, you know, if you just did one color, if you pour that in the mold, like right now, right away, you know, you just mix it up, add your mica, and pour it in there. One of the problems is you'll pour it in, and the micas kind of settle. So, you know, if you kind of stir it up, can you guys see what happened? Why did that thing get not? Nah. Come on. Configure video. Work with me here. Yeah, it messed up again. Apply. Okay. Okay. There we go. I don't know why it changed on me. Now you can kind of see, but you know, if you kind of swirl it up a little bit, it makes little kind of patterns or, you know, swirlies. But if you pour it into a trough, it's all the mica powders are gonna kind of settle out and become kind of homogeneous, and you're gonna miss all of that kind of that look to where, you know, right now when you mix the resin up, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but or well enough, but if I pour it when it's really thin and it just sits there, this is really a big deal with epoxies, or I should say just long working time resins. You know, the table people that do the resin river tables and all that kind of stuff, they'll mix up gallons of resin and then just dump it in, and it just looks kind of flat and boring by the end of, you know, the 2-3 hour working time sometimes they have. So I recommend still kind of waiting a little bit, as long as there's no, you know, hurry or no rush to get it in the mold. Wait a little bit, because you're gonna the colors are gonna look better in the end. So hopefully that made sense. I don't know. Let me know if that didn't make any dang sense. I think our mold's pretty well ready here. Brian's here. What's up, man? How's the bushing business? So are we still talking about the light thing? I want to make a lamp and illuminate it. Oh yeah. It should be fine. As long as it's going, you know, through the holes. It's not going to go too much through the side of it, obviously. But yeah, I think you'll be good. Might be worth doing a kind of a little bit of a test first before you know, this sounds like a kind of a larger project. Might try and kind of do a kind of miniature scale version of it and just see what happens first, but it should be good. So I'm going to see how much, what temperature we're at. I've been finding that about 100 degrees is a good number. So we're at 88. We still got some time on this. One thing I could have probably done maybe is heated up the rope. I don't think it's a big deal in this case, but if, you know, especially for folks that are in humid areas, I would probably recommend heating up anything that you're going to put in resin. Luckily, I'm in the desert, basically, so I don't usually have to worry about a bunch of surface moisture, but if there is surface moisture on whatever, even though it's been stabilized, there could be some surface moisture, and that will kind of cause bubbles or a reaction with your resin in some cases. Yeah, warm molds, especially with these square ones, the corners tend to suck in, and heating them will help with that. The resin will kind of lay down flatter. Resin doesn't like cold surfaces. It's going to tend to suck or migrate to the warmest part, which is generally the middle. And it just kind of helps it cure, especially if you're in a cooler area, cooler shop. You know, you definitely, I would recommend heating the molds up. If you're casting very small amounts of resin, you definitely want to heat up your molds. So like the 2-bin molds from P-Town Subby. You know, if you're doing something like this, tiny amount of resin, you definitely want to get those things nice and toasty. That'll help the resin cure. All right, so we're at 92. Give it a little bit more here. Yeah, and Tony was asking about the sticks. Yeah, if you use a plastic stick, just wipe it off, or you can wait and pop off the resin. I find it's easier just to wipe off your stick while it's still, you know, kind of scrape it off and then just wipe it off when you're done. And you can also wipe it down with some acetone or denatured alcohol. I just find it's much easier to kind of get it fully clean if you can get it before the resin hardens up. If it gets to the point where it's kind of set up, then just let it fully cure on there, and then it should just pop off for the most part. You can kind of scrape it if you get little bits here and there, but yeah, that's what I do. Now, if you're using, I guess technically you could probably wipe off a wooden stick. I just toss those. I buy the what are they called? What are those things? The tongue depressors, you know, like a lot of them at a time. And I just toss those. Yeah, that is one of the advantages to using the paint mixing cups. You know, like they cost more off the bat, but you can reuse them quite a few times. Now, I don't recommend trying to reuse paint mixing cups if you're going for a dead clear casting. I don't really, you're probably going to get little bits of stuff. It's really hard to get the cup totally clean by just, you know, scraping it. There's like little small bits all over the place, and they get in your clear resin, and then that's no fun. So I don't really recommend using reused ones for that. But if you're adding a bunch of mica powders and stuff in there, then it doesn't really matter. All right, so we're at about 100 degrees. That ought to be good. We're gonna just pour this stuff in there. Whee! You don't really have to do all this, but it's kind of fun. Mix it around. Again, it's probably not going to stay, especially since I'm going to be pushing rope down in here. With this rope, I probably could have put that in first in the mold, but I kind of am in the habit of just kind of adding it later. So I'm just going to basically shove this stuff in here, kind of however it works. We could try to get a little bit more specific with where it's all going and all that, but now one thing I didn't think about is we may need to kind of hold this stuff down, because being stabilized, it doesn't just kind of lay flat necessarily. Might have been a smarter idea to do like a 3 blank mold on this. Might need more rope than I had thought. But that's why we do experiments, to see what happens. Just going to kind of push it down, try and get it in there, even though I'm going to make a mess of things. Come on, Pink, get down in there. Well, we'll have to see how this works. Might be a smarter idea to go for, you know, gluing it to a pen tube. Probably get it to do what you want a little bit easier. All right. A little bit sticky here, but that's okay. All right, so into the pressure pot we go. I think it'll still turn out okay. I know that it's not looking super awesome, but that pink just, I don't know. I don't know, guys. We're going to have to see how this all works out, because most of it's all kind of on the top at this point. All right. That's all I can do. I'm done messing with it. It just does not want to do what I want it to do. The resin's going to start setting up here, so. It is what it is. We'll cut off the stuff that's hanging out on the top and put it in later. Put it in something else. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see, I'm over on this other pressure pot here. And 70 psi, and it'll take a couple hours in the pressure pot to get all ready to go. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to wipe this thing off. And then, like I said, I hit it with a little bit of acetone just to kind of get all the resin off and all the color stuff. So yeah, I don't know how that's going to turn out. I think it is going to be cool. It looked kind of terrible in the mold right there, but I think it is going to be kind of cool with the little wisps of rope. I don't know about the tiny, the thin rope. That may not be the most awesome thing for full-size pen blanks, but I think, as long as we didn't lose most of it, I think this stuff is going to look really cool in a pen blank. Just hopefully we got enough in the middle of them. Another way you could maybe do it, I was thinking about vertical. That might not be the worst way to go. You could do tubes for pen blanks. You might be able to, you may have a little bit more control over it being, you're probably gonna be guaranteed to get more in the blank that way, but at the same time, it's this stuff doesn't really, being a little bit harder, it may not do exactly what you want, maybe kind of hard to even shove that down into a tube. So let's see here. Let me think about this a little bit. So I want to do some stoppers. Yeah, you could put a lid on it, but it just makes things more difficult. Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. Stabilizing stuff is going to lock in those colors, which that's not going to work. We're going to have to stick with the casting view because we lost our other webcam. All right, so let's see here. We're going to do some stoppers. Let's try and do vertical. Let's see how that works vertically. What do you guys think about that? Let me see if I can find a longer tube though. We could try and just kind of, I actually think I want to leave these longer if we're going to do kind of a tall tube. I think it'll be easier to keep it from just, otherwise if we cut this into small pieces, it's just going to sink to the bottom in this. So let me find, I should have, there we go. Here we go. That's a good little pipe there, 1.5 inch. And we got ourselves one of the Turner's Warehouse plugs. I need to spray this still, but just to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on there. Let's try this out. See what we can make of this. So this should give me 3 stoppers. Or you could leave it intact and it would be kind of a handle. So I'm going to actually take this out. We're going to spray this with some mold release spray. And I'm just going to do that over here so that I don't get it on the rope. All right, so we're going for transparent. Frank, what do you want to see in this one? We're going for some sort of a transparent look. I'm gonna hit this little plug with the air hose. Try and get off any stuff that might have been on it. You can also clean silicone molds and plugs and stuff like that with denatured alcohol. Not a bad idea every once in a while. Get in there. Whoa, whoa. Okay. looking for? Is Frank still here? Calling Frank Fowler. It's been a while since I've seen him. He may not be here. Oh man. There he is. Well, it's up to you. We could go with dead clear. I'm not opposed to that at all. Yeah, the plugs are at Turner's Warehouse. There might actually be a link to them in the show notes already. No. There's a link to them somewhere on my channel. You know where they probably are?
That stuff is in.
Let's see here. I might be able to find a link here real quick. Yeah. Maybe. Oh man. It's really long. All right, so clear. Do you want any little glitters or anything in there? We can do all kinds of different stuff. We can try things. So I'm thinking one of the problems that I have, I don't want to stick this stuff in there now because I just sprayed it with mold release. So I want to wait to kind of see what's going on, but I think I'm just going to go with I'm going to try and kind of conserve some of this a little bit. So I'm going to cut this down too. What I want is I want it to be a little longer than the tube, basically. So that I can, you know, like kind of, if I have to, I can like tape the ends over so it doesn't fall down in. So we're going to go with similar sizes of each one of these colors. Oh man, that one's... There we go. There. I'm just going to cut this in half. Put it in last. That should keep it from falling to the bottom. Translucent orange, Jen says. Jen put in the super chat. Purple swirl. The internet's making you angry. All right, so let's try. We'll do a little bit of purple and a little bit of orange. I don't know how we're gonna. This is getting complicated. So I'm gonna keep that. I got resin all over my hands. How did I get resin on my hands? Graffiti style. That would be kind of cool. It's a lot harder to do vertically though. Put that over there. Okay, so Ricky, he sells pretty much every size. I think from like 1/2 inch all the way up to 4, maybe even 6. I'm not sure about 6, but he's definitely got a little bit of pretty much everything. So yeah, that should work. Kind of. I think it might be kind of cool to just shove it down in as a kind of a group. you know, it'll kind of wiggle around in there, but I think that, I don't know. I think that'll be kind of cool. Okay, so I'm trying to take everybody's thing. So I think the best we can do is clear resin with some orange, like swirls sort of in there. The problem is we're gonna mess it all up, basically, if we try to do swirls. But you know, we can kind of just add it to the top. You know, keep it in the top portion and then just push our ropes down in, and that should bring some of it down in there. I don't know. It gets kind of tough doing swirls and stuff if you're embedding stuff in a pipe. Let's see. Clear pipe, you can get that. I have links on my website. And there's links, basically there's links to everything that you need on that page. Tie a knot in it. I don't know if that would work. Yeah. That is a really good idea. I like that. We can kind of like braid them a little bit. Some of them are really hard, and I don't think they're gonna like really work. I think I could tie a knot in this green. I could kind of tie a knot in the green. It looks like the pink might work. Let's see what we can do here. Let me get this up over there. That's pretty cool. We can do that. Just kind of interweave them. This one's a little bit more on the crusty side. What do you guys think of that? That's not too bad. Not too shabby. I don't know if it'll stay exactly, but I should be able to shove that down in. I don't know. What do you think? If anyone can do it, I can. Maybe. Jamie, what's up, brother? How's it going, man? Yeah, you can swirl outside. I gotta be honest, I've never really gotten excellent results doing like a dirty pour and then pouring it into a tube. What ends up happening is it kind of sticks to either the beginning or the end, or it just totally bleeds out. So I think we're just gonna kind of add a little bit of color to the top, push the stuff down in, and I think we'll be good to go. So let's do number 2 here. Let's see. We're doing stoppers. Couldn't think of the word. That's a 1.5 inch PVC pipe and slow set clear. That thing should probably take about, it's been a while since I done one of those. Tell you what, I think I'm going to be overshooting this. 300. Yeah, I think it's going to be overshooting it, but I think we're going to go for like 320 grams. So before we even do anything, I'm going to get a pen blank PVC pipe ready. Just for the extra resin. We're not going to mess around with the rope in it though. Oops. So we got an extra, just in case. Try 325 grams. Actually, we're going to go with 330. 165 times 2. So a lot of this is going to be clear. And then we're just going to dump off a little bit of resin, add some orange and add some purple. So I'm going to go get a new, because most of this stuff is supposed to be clear. Now we may get little bits of stuff kind of coming off in the clear in this one, but we'll try and keep it as clear as possible without other stuff getting in there. So and I'm going to add a little extra part B, a little trick for Alumilite Clear. This does not work with any epoxies. It doesn't work with Amazing Clear Cast, which is an Alumilite product also. It's just Alumilite Clear or Clear Slow. I add a little extra part B, and that just helps to make sure that it stays dead clear. You don't get any white kind of hazing in it. So we're zeroing this guy out. 165 times 2. I don't even need a giant cup like this, do I? No, I don't really. We're going to go with not a paint mixing cup. We're going to go with this one. It'll be fine. All right, 156. No, it's just the height. I don't need to label stuff because I have notes in my notebooks. The problem is I don't want to sit here and go through finding all that stuff right now. You can do the math on it also, but I'm just winging it. We'll be fine. And then 165 part B. But I'm going to add 1 gram extra. It's not that much. Like I said, it just kind of, with this product specifically, it kind of helps just make sure that everything's good to go with the clarity. Okay. So like I said, we're going to mix this up, and then what I'm going to do is split off just a very small amount in a small cup. I have the little condiment cups. I'm a little bit bummed. These things, the ones that it was the same number and everything like that from Costco, and these things have like a messed up bottom. It's all ridged and messed up, and I bought like two cartons of these things. So I'm bummed because the last ones were totally smooth. They were like the perfect cups for extra resin. But anyway, I'm particular about my mixing cups. Add some silver. All right. Did you get your play button, Doug? Nice. I can't even imagine that. That is huge. All right, so we should be pretty well mixed up at this point. We got another cup now because everybody's getting in here with some fun colors. So we're going to do clear. We're going to like break off like 10 grams probably. I don't really necessarily need to measure that, but we're just going to kind of estimate that. We're going to go with some orange, some, what was the other one? Orange. What did Frank want now? Purple. Purple and silver. Okay, so for silver, we're going to use pewter from Alumidust. Oh, that's not coming up on the screen. This is a good one for kind of a silver gunmetal look. I'm a little bit bummed. Alumilite, they sell they sell metallic powders. Okay. And these things are like a little bit different than your typical micas. They're super, super tiny particles, and it does some kind of different stuff to it. It adds some slightly different effect. And they recently, their supplier for the silver like ran out, and they're not restocking, and they can't find the same product. And it really bums me out because that product was in a lot of my blanks. So I'm kind of, oh, the button's pending, I see. Nice, that's awesome. Congratulations, Doug. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of measure out 10 grams here. See how much that is in here. That's about 5, that's about 10 or so. And we'll just kind of eyeball the 3 of these guys. Getting resin all over the place. That's why. Because there's resin all over the place already. Okay, adding about 10 grams of each. Okay. We got our 3 cups. We got about 10 grams, or well, there. Now we're a little bit closer to even in each one. We got our pewter. I'm just gonna kind of put a little bit on this little stick. Grab a little bit of it and drop it in there. And for Doug's 100,000. That's more people than live in my town. That's like 3 times as many people as live in where I live. Pretty awesome, man. There's our silver for the play button. Dang it, I got resin on this thing again. Got resin on my cups over here too. Jeez. Last time I stick my hands in the mold. That was a terrible idea, guys. Okay. We got silver. We'll go with a little bit of blaze orange. That's one of my favorite colors, honestly, from Caster's Choice. They really nailed it on the blaze orange. Can you guys even see what's going on? Okay, yeah, kind of. We'll add a little scoop of orange. Look at that. Orange, purple, and silver. This is shaping up to be pretty neat. Probably need to kind of hurry up a little bit here. And let's try violet. I never pick violet. Everybody always picks plum crazy. So let's go with violet on this one. As you can see, I don't even know if I've even used it before. I'll add a little bit of violet in there. How about that? Ooh, that's nice. That's a nice one too. Not bad. Okay, so we got our 3 colors here. Okay, and I want to see what temperature are we at here, because we're going to be kind of trying to do this again at the end. It just tends to work a little bit better when you're mixing things together. I think I'm going to shoot for about 95 degrees on this one. Let's see here. Well, you did all the hard work, obviously. I'm glad I could help out a little bit, though. That's cool. Yeah, it is kind of time consuming if you, depending on what you're doing with YouTube. I don't, you can really get caught up in the numbers and all that stuff. In a lot, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people that get super depressed. Like they put a video out and it doesn't get any views, and and it is depressing because you put some work into it, you know, sometimes. And so I've kind of given up. I don't really worry about the numbers. I just try to have fun with YouTube. And in that case, like, you know, it doesn't necessarily take that much time, but if you're trying to do this, like there's, you know, the people that do YouTube for a living, man, it's hard work. A lot of work involved. All right. Live streams are a lot easier for me because I don't have to edit videos later. If you do that kind of stuff, not too bad. It's doable. Still waiting. A waiting game then. We're at 87. Like I said, I'm waiting for about 95 I want. So I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to probably pour up to about like 3/4. I'm going to add a little bit of dye in at that point. Then I'm going to pour the rest of the clear on, and then I'm going to pour some more of the colors. And see how that works. You know, with the dumping some resin in, that should push it down, and then pushing these things down in as well. Hopefully, I might even actually do like half. Well, what I find that if you put just a little bit in and then dump a ton of clear resin on it, it just disperses it a lot. So we're gonna wait till it's up here in this region. Try a little bit of color and then, yeah, when's Doug gonna do the easy stuff, man? Now, live streams, they can be kind of hard. It depends on what you're doing. But obviously, if you just wing it like I do, then, you know, it can be all right doing the live streams. All right, 91, that's fine. We're going to pour this first set in now. Hopefully that's on camera. Did the camera screw up again? All right, so we're going to go about 3/4. And then we're going to try this. I'm definitely no expert when it comes to vertical swirling and stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour like a little bit of each color in its own little zone there. Okay. So they're just kind of hanging out there for now. Now I'm going to pour some more of this clear, and I'm going to actually kind of pour it from kind of high. Yeah, didn't do it. And we're gonna dump the resin. I was watching what was happening to on the inside. In fact, I'm just gonna dump some of this out at this point because that's not gonna work. I dumped some out, guys. It just wasn't gonna work. So we're gonna try this again. We're gonna add a little bit of orange. I gotta have some space in this tube for the rope. Can't fill it all the way to the top. So we're gonna add a little bit. We're gonna do the same thing that I just did, and then we're gonna push our rope in and see what we get. Okay, we're pretty much to the bottom there. I can't tell if that did anything. I'm just going to top it off. I don't know that we really got any of these colors doing anything, but they're all kind of like shoved down on one side, it looks like. Well, I don't know. We got a little bit of color throughout, but I don't think that worked. That didn't work the way that we were hoping. So we got a little bit of resin. This is what Curtis was talking about. Another way to do this. is you can pour all, you can call it a dirty pour, I guess. I don't know that, yeah, I guess that's what this is, dirty pour technique. You pour all your colors in one cup. Maybe give it a little bit of a swirl if you want. We're going to try it without even swirling or anything like that. And then you just dump your colors in. You get a little bit of each color, possibly. I've never really been super thrilled with the results vertically. But, you know, we got a little bit of each color in there. I mean, that worked pretty good. But I knew that was going to happen. Like, it was going to take up everything in this pipe if we would have poured it that way. And I wanted mostly clear with little hints of color in there. All right, so let's get this guy in the pressure pot. Try not to get resin all over the place. All right. And lid on. You guys can see all this stuff, I think, right? Yeah, maybe I could have twisted the rope. I don't know. I'm not sure if there was enough color in there. It wasn't really looking like anything. All right, number 2 done. So now the third thing, we got this Lotus pod, and I'm not entirely certain what to do with it. You guys got any ideas? Lotus pod. Signal blocker. Oh, that's not fun. I just got Alumilite not too long ago, and it looks fine to me. Every once in a while, they're raw, like the raw materials that, you know, wherever they make this stuff, it may turn out, you know, in the jug, it may look a little bit yellow with Alumilite, and it just depends on the raw materials. Sometimes that happens. Now, you need to test it though. You know, if there is a problem, if you just mix part A and part B and it turns out yellow, then there's something wrong, you know. But if after you've mixed it, it cures and everything and it's dead clear just like normal, then there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the, you know, like I said, the raw materials. Because I've gotten them before and I call them and I'm like, whoa, what's wrong with this? And they're like, no, it's okay. So I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with it, but as long as it casts fine and comes out clear, then there is nothing wrong with it. So just double check. Glow powder in the holes, that'd be kind of cool. All right, take it easy, Wolfridge. Paperweight, yeah. A sphere. It's not very tall. Will it fit in a 3-inch PVC pipe? I don't really want to make it too big, you know, like go with like too wide a diameter. I could, yeah, that's not bad. 3-inch, that might work. We could maybe crank a sphere out of this. I like that idea. I don't think that I'm going to fill each individual thing with a different color. That don't have the patience for that today. I do like the glow powder idea, though. I could go for a couple different glow powder colors in there. I don't have anything that's going to set up super, super fast, but we can mix up some Alumilite clear. Slow set. That's the fastest one I got right now. I don't have any of the regular set. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It actually looks like, yeah. We might get some bubbles. I wouldn't actually be that mad if it had a few bubbles in there. Yeah, it was all stabilized. He sent it in, Jen. He sent all these goodies in. So let's try. You know what I just saw? What do you guys think about this idea? I have some turquoise. What we could do is we could load it up today and then cast this next week sometime. I think I'd kind of like to fill the bottom of this, harden it up. It is kind of spongy. So why don't we do that? Why don't we prepare that today? And then another thing that we can maybe try to do is, what time is it? 4:30? Yeah, we might be able to do both. Is try and load up a pen tube with this stuff. Let's see here. Actually, yeah, 2 of them. Let's see here. Okay, I got a plan, guys. So we're not going to cast this today, but we are going to go for a 3-inch. So I'm gonna need to kind of trim this down just a little bit, like right there and right there. So I'm going to go do that really quick with some sandpaper. I don't think I want to use a powered sander to do this. Where's my sandpaper? So all I have is a little piece of Abernet there. Just sanding down some of these edges that are kind of flaring out and won't make it fit. I think it would be pretty close at this point. Yep. We're good to go now. I'm going to blow it off. Okay, so got a couple things that are going on here. So I think what might be the best way to go is to hit this with some UV resin. That way I can just cure it right away. And I don't think it's going to cause a problem with anything down the road. Even if it does cause a problem, it's the bottom and we're going to pretty much turn it away. So we're going to use a little bit of solar res on the bottom. This is just a UV cure resin. And I'm just going to kind of put a little bit on here. I'm going to try to kind of mix it around, paint it on thinner. I just want to make sure that if I start filling these holes, that stuff doesn't come through, right? So I'm just going to we're probably going to do a couple, probably have to do a couple of treatments of this. I don't know, that might have been easier with just a casting resin, but I'd kind of like to get this going and just get this kind of sealed up right now. 5-minute epoxy might work as well. It is kind of spongy down in there. Okay, and then we're just going to hit this with a UV light. That should have hardened it. Yep. And then we're going to do it again. I'm just trying to kind of layer this one layer on top of each other to try and kind of fill any holes that are in the bottom so that it doesn't just leak through when we fill those little things on the other side. Okay. So that's pretty hard. Let's do one more round really quickly here, just to kind of make sure that we've gotten everything kind of filled. Especially these edges. And that should continue to cure for a little bit longer. You could even put it outside in the sun to help it kind of cure even more. Should be good to go, but you know, it'll probably be kind of continuing to cure as we go here. All right, so let's see here. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, we could kind of dust, actually that's not a bad idea. We could kind of dust this stuff on a little bit. I don't know, I kind of want to fill them though. Like I said, I got this turquoise. And I have some, we can kind of do like a mixture, basically. I've got resin everywhere. I want resin everywhere. I've got some aqua glow in the dark as well. So it doesn't look like much right now, but it will glow aqua color. So we can kind of put that in with the turquoise. So let's do that. Technically, we could do this with UV resin as well. I've had some issues with bonding, but I think in this case, I think we'll be okay. Let's give it a shot. You know, this stuff, this is what this stuff really excels at, I would say. So let's just get a little cup. I'm not going to be casting this right away. That's one thing that I always kept trying to do, and it doesn't seem to work very well with Alumilite. May not work at all, I don't know. Even had problems with epoxy though, so it wasn't really just that. So let's give this a try and see what it looks like. Let me get some scissors so I can open these little bags. I just thought this would kind of look neat. It's two totally different colors, you know. Let's just put some of this in here and see. I mean, that's pretty cool looking, isn't it? I like the contrast. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so let's see here. How can we do this the best? I actually think I need to dump this back into this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to mix up some Alumilite first. I don't think we're going to have time for the tube today. We'll do that next week as well. Or I can maybe prep it before and then we can cast it on the show. So I'm going to get one of these little condiment cups. I'm going to mix up a little bit of Alumilite Clear Slow Set. We're going to mix up 20 grams. That may be too much, actually. That's okay. It should be kind of fun. Huh, went back to being goo. That's weird, Jen. What brand do you use? I don't have that much experience with UV resin. I'm just kind of curious. So far, the solar res, that stuff seems to work reasonably well most of the time for me. It doesn't really work. I think there may be bonding issues when you try to cast on top of it with Alumilite. And I don't know. I've had some issues here and there with it. But some UV resins don't really want to cure at all. Like they require a lot of light UV radiation and longer times. Solar res, most of them are quick. I don't know. You're really late today? Oh man, it's cool. All right, so I'm just stirring this up. What I'm going to do is we're going to add the glow-in-the-dark resin or powder to this, and we're going to put that on the kind of on the bottom, I think. At least what that'll do is kind of fill these up a little bit. It should glow in the dark anyway. And then we'll probably kind of have to add a little bit of glow in the dark. Maybe we should just dump everything into this and just fill it up. That actually might be the best way to go. Glow in the dark powder, turquoise, and probably a little bit of, trying to think here, blue dye. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Just in case, add a little bit of ocean blue dye. Did you guys see that? So it's just the transparent. And actually, I'm going to go for a very, very tiny amount. So a toothpick is coming out. And we're just going to add a little bit as we go. Don't need a lot. Tiny, tiny bit. We'll just tint the resin there. Perfect. That's what I was going for. And then we're going to add, let's try an eighth, well, yeah, like an eighth teaspoon, a kind of low eighth teaspoon of glow powder. You can maybe add a little bit more glow powder to this. We are going to be adding turquoise as well. Problem is, I'm a little worried that we're going to kind of run out of, I don't have that much turquoise. This is a lot of area to fill up. So let's see how far this goes first. I just want to see, and I also want to see if this stuff leaks out at all. Whoa. Overdid it on that one. And I'm really not that worried about like air bubbles because we're going to be covering all this stuff up. So I'm not even going to worry about pressurizing this. Is it dripping? I don't see any drips. But I do kind of need to get that stuff. We're going to make this run a little bit. We're going to get it. See how there's like veins in here? I actually think we should put a little bit of glow all over this thing. Hopefully we won't cut into it. That's kind of the idea, is we're going to try, the edges probably are going to get cut into, but these little veins in the middle should be there. We're not even going to touch it. And so we're kind of, at this point, we're kind of thinking sphere, I think, on this, or something sort of like that. Maybe a half sphere, like a half dome type thing. Doesn't even have to be a full sphere. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more here and there. The ones that kind of went down a little bit. Then we're going to put some turquoise on top of this. Problem is, we might need to kind of wait for this to set up. All right. So we did that. And then problem is we're going to have to kind of wait for that to set up. And then what I want to do is add some of this turquoise on top. And I think what I might do is, rather than try and like fill it, I think I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them a little bit. So what I can try to do is maybe wait for it to kind of just, you know, set up a little bit, and then just sprinkle them on top once it's kind of skinned up, you know. It's going to take a while though. We're going to have to kind of sit here and wait. But I think that'll be kind of cool. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's upright. Everything's pretty good. Oh, it's raining, huh? You really? I to be honest, I haven't really liked the Illuma UV. It doesn't set up. That's one of the ones that takes forever to actually set up. Yeah, they are kind of like glow bugs. Nice. Yeah, so I don't know how long this is going to take to kind of set up. I don't think it's leaking. Oh, yeah, it is. A little bit. A little bit, maybe. I don't know. I wish I could zap this and just be like, cured. You know, that would be nice. No such luck. Well, since we're just sitting here watching resin dry, let's load up one of these tubes and see if we can kind of get this going. So what I was thinking was I'll use some silver tubes, and we'll go with the Junior Gent. I like the Junior series. They're good two-piece, you know, fancy kind of pens. So let's see here. I kind of like this blue. See how this kind of works here. Again, I don't know. I mean, this seems like the perfect use for UV resin. So let's see what we can do with this. First things first, I'm actually going to wipe the tubes down with some denatured alcohol, just to make sure there's no contaminants or any goo on it. Should make the UV resin or anything else stick to it better. Oops. So I've just put some denatured alcohol on this piece of paper. Okay, so that's good. Now, what I'm going to do here, and I am not good at doing this kind of stuff, so just to let you guys know. I think what I'm going to do, though, is we're just going to put a little dab of this UV resin on. I don't want too much. I don't know if that's enough. And then kind of hold this on there. Oh shoot, I put my light away. And then hit it with the light. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, bigger dab of glue. And the rope. Yeah, this is why I don't do this kind of stuff, because I generally just suck at it. Hopefully I'm on the camera. Okay, there we go. That's going to look ugly probably. I can kind of trim off that excess. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this one kind of loose. And we're going to kind of put different colors in here. All right, I think I'm just going to have to glue this in the spots that I want. Oh, it came off. All right, so you guys kind of see what's going on. The problem is you can see these big glue blobs that I'm making on this. I don't know how much I like that. But I'm trying to keep them all on the same side so that we can just kind of put that on the bottom or something. Put that on a place, whichever part of the pen that we don't want to really look at. Okay, so we got some blue on there. Let me get my scissors again. And I think I'm going to get some... yeah, I have these little nippers that can maybe get this extra right there. Should have probably done it at the tip there, but that's okay. We got some little fuzzies. We're not going for perfection here. We're gonna see how this works. Actually, I can add these other colors to this top part and kind of get it to look a little bit better. So we'll go with some green. And again, I think what I'm going to do here is I think the best way to do this would have been to kind of wrap it around. And I'll just cut off the excess. Instead of sitting there trying to hold it in place. So once again, we'll just take our nippers. Just cut off the excess, and that works a lot better there. Okay, so same rules, same method here. Now I can kind of tie the glue into the two pieces of fiber rather than having to rely strictly on the tube and the rope. Okay. Try not to glue your fingers to the tube. It's a bad idea. Okay. What do you guys think of that? I don't know. It's coming along, I think. I think once we get the pink in there, oh man, this thing's gonna be styling. I have some smaller nippers that are gonna work a little bit better. I have to go get them though. I will be right back. It's over in my 3D printing throne. All right. The high accuracy nipper. Oh no! Dang it. it came loose. But I think I can fix it. I'm going to put a blob down underneath both of these guys. All right, we're safe for now. I think I'm going to add a little bit more underneath there. I'm not awesome at delicate work. All right, and then we'll add a little bit of pink to this guy. We're going to go with the other end. It's a little thicker. All right, so I'm going to pop this side off too. You got to be delicate with this stuff. All right. Okay. Get this nice and cured. I'm going to leave the extra on just in case it decides to pop off. Oh. Man. Lots of glue blobs, guys. I'm not as aerodynamic as I used to be. This is why I don't like this stuff. I have no patience for things popping off. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I don't like these. I've got so much glue on these things that they look ugly. So we're going to cut some off. We're going to re-glue. We're going to, oh, I glued my glove on. Okay, guys. I'm done with that. I really don't have the patience for this kind of stuff. So you can imagine what it may look like, but I'm going to be moving on. Let's take a look at this other thing. How's our resin doing? It's at the gel state at this point, but it can still kind of move a little bit. So we're going to have a few more minutes. I think we could maybe drop some of the powdery turquoise on now, but I think that the larger chunks are just going to kind of fall through. Let me grab some tweezers real quick. Let's just see if it'll support the bigger chunks of this. They're not huge, you know. I'm just going to kind of grab a few. One. Let's see what happens here. Yeah. It's not sinking. I'm going to go with a popsicle stick now. Looks like it's holding it up. Oh. And add a few more up here and in this kind of deeper hole. I'm kind of digging that. What do you guys think? Got a little excited right there, but I think especially with the glow, I think that's going to look pretty cool. What do you think? What do you think? Let's see what the thinner powder stuff looks like. Oh. Yeah, I think I like the chunks better. Sweet. All right, so we're going to have to throw in the towel on the tube-in wire wrapping thing. That's just not the kind of stuff that I want to do. Not my cup of tea. But we do have a few little strands left that we can maybe give try something else out with, especially if we come up with some thoughts. And we can kind of maybe like do some braiding or something like that with these bigger strands and some small strands together. But I got to be honest, I can't. That's why you don't see me doing tube-in stuff very often, because it's just aggravating mostly to me. Other people are so much better at it that I'd rather just buy blanks from them. Well, let's see here. I'm going to close down the intro cam. Nope, that was totally the wrong one. I got all my cameras all backwards and sideways because my main camera doesn't work. So I'm going to put this guy back up at the top for now. What am I doing? There we go. Let's see how that worked out. There we go. We got it back. So anyway, guys, I don't know. we did some experiments. We're going to wait for this to set up, and then I'll cast it sometime this week in a 3-inch PVC pipe, and we'll see what we get. I'm actually kind of thinking, I think somebody might have said paperweight. I actually think that's what I want to do. I don't think I'm going to go for a full sphere. I think it'd be cooler just to have it be like like a half dome kind of thing, a little bit closer to the top, rather than trying to go all the way around. That way I can probably leave a lot more of the edge in place. Really all you got to cut down is that curve at the top without having to worry about the dimensions of the sphere. So I think let's try and go for a paperweight. I know that sounds kind of silly and useless, but I think it's the best thing that we can do with it. So anyway, we'll do that this week. I'll try and get my camera working. Like I said, I have no clue if it's the camera or the input card thing that, I don't know if that's broken now too. Everything's just falling apart, but it's okay. We got webcams and we can get by. So I appreciate you guys joining the fun today. Again, we're trying to, next week, hopefully we can do, like a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. But the normal schedule is Fridays at 3 p.m. And we do some resin casting experiments and have a little bit of fun. I can't talk. But we're trying to add a few more while everybody's kind of on lockdown. So I wasn't able to do it on Monday, but we got one in on Wednesday last week. And then, like I said, hopefully, tentatively, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of next week, we can have a little bit of fun. So thank you to everybody that super chatted. I really appreciate it. It definitely helps support the show very well. Keeps us in resin and all kinds of other supplies and cameras that break. So I really appreciate you guys' support. Let's see here. Let me see. Yeah, actually, Randy, I have used their tubes for casting. They work really good. So awesome. Hey, there's Ray. What's up, man? And Jeff. Wow, my pleasure. Sorry I kind of screwed up the tube in thing. That stuff just aggravates me. One of these days I do want to get, I think Chad sells like watch parts and stuff, and I want to try and do a watch part pen, but I don't know. I get so frustrated with that kind of stuff, with little glue blobs and like tweezers and, mounting things. When they fall off, I'm just like, just stay. So, anyway, guys, I hope you have a great night. Let's see here. So we'll have to, I guess, what day is it? It's Friday. I'm all messed up with all these different days for streaming. So this weekend, I will pull these guys out of the pressure pots, and we'll see how these blanks turned out that we made tonight. And then, like I said, next week we'll get this other thing cast, and we'll see how it goes. Hey, thanks, Ann. I appreciate it. But anyway, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your Friday evening. Have fun. Get in the shop this weekend, and yeah, do some resin casting. Have fun with it. So I'll see you guys on Monday, Wednesday, definitely Friday, sometime next week, and we'll do another live stream. Oh, and be looking on Sunday. I'm going to try and get the sphere turning video up. So be looking for that on my YouTube channel. Have a great night, guys. I will see you on the next stream.